Fox News has managed to just tick everybody off, right? It's like they get a little woke and then they're like, oh my gosh, we can't get too woke, so we got to get really conservative. And then all the woke people are angry and saying, hey, we knew they weren't really woke. And the conservatives are saying, we knew you weren't really conservative. And so on it goes. And so management is kind of tied in knots. They don't know how to manage things now because, you know, they get this audience. It's kind of an audience that's sort of dying off. Why? Because, everybody's coming here, like to streaming platforms. This is the future. And plenty of content creators, myself included, are going to be able to go more and more so directly to you, which is what Tucker Carlson has figured out quite well, too. Even if you can only be on one platform right now, there's some kind of contract stipulation saying only one platform. And yet one platform is enough to do it. In this case, X, formerly known as Twitter. That's kind of funny to say. Anyway, the big problem at this moment in time is that Fox News executives know they don't really have a debate without the head of the GOP, so to speak. I mean, figuratively, right? Because Donald Trump is the front runner, like by a country mile. Like nobody's coming close. Right now, it looks like he is going to be the nominee. And so how do you have a GOP debate? How do you have a Republican debate if you don't actually have the guy who's out in front leading the pack? I myself have interviewed a couple of debates for Fox Business, presidential GOP primary debates, back in the, when they had so many candidates, right? And then they had to split them up into like the cocktail version and then the main event. Anyway, it's a very high pressure situation. There's a lot riding on this, both in terms of the reputation of the network and in terms of advertising, right? They sell a certain amount of advertising, anticipating they're going to get a certain amount of viewers. I mean, we had record viewership at Fox Business. I believe when I was hosting this, when I was hosting the debate, we did somewhere around 6 million, which was just incredible for this, at the time, small network, right? Fox News, different story. But there's a lot of pressure on them to bring in the ratings. Well, how are they going to bring in the ratings when the main attraction is like, see ya, I'm going to go see this guy.
But because Joe Biden and his many allies, from Chuck Schumer to Mitch McConnell to Paul Ryan and every single news anchor on all of television, all of them believe that Ukraine, its borders...
We're going to talk about that in a little bit more because Tucker's onto something there, and it all relates to everything. Anyway, so Fox is feeling all this pressure, and the executives, I guarantee you, are tearing their hair out. And I feel bad for them a little bit. They're coming up with some creative solutions. They said, well, maybe we just actually play some sound of Donald Trump for the whole auditorium to hear. And I guess all those viewers at home to hear. But why do that when you can actually go and maybe watch him live on Tucker's show? Now, Tucker has not said whether he is in fact very precisely, deliberately programming at the exact same time that Fox has its debate, which is, I think, on the 23rd. So yeah, we're like 48 hours away. You know what? It's smart. It's brilliant. Absolutely, positively brilliant of Donald Trump and Tucker for that matter, because what everyone here in this equation realizes is Fox needs Trump more than Trump needs Fox. And Fox needed Tucker more than Tucker needed Fox. Right. So that is sort of the sweet revenge, as they say, that they're teaming up. I just keep laughing about it. They're teaming up against Fox. I actually think they're going to get blowout numbers. And I said to you before, listen, don't count Tucker out. It's not like it's going to be a walk in the park, which is what Fox wants you to believe. No. Actually, Tucker can give a pretty good interview. You saw how he ruffled Mike Pence's feathers recently, which are not easy to ruffle and may have, unfortunately for Mike Pence, single-handedly destroyed the guy's career. And it had to do with some of those Ukraine issues. We'll get to that in a second. But first, see how they're just, they're doing everything they can. They get Karl Rove out there trying to say, hey, are you man enough? Are you man enough, Donald Trump, to show up at the debate? They get the White House actually weighing in on it. Like, that's going to do a lot of good, right? And, they've got a Wall Street Journal editorial as well. Wall Street Journal, of course, owned by Rupert Murdoch, which owns the main shareholder in shares of Fox News Corporation. Here's Karl.
Karl, if you were Donald Trump, would you show up at that debate in Milwaukee next Wednesday?
I would, even though there's, look, there are dangers. I mean, he will be, if he shows up, he will be attacked by everybody in one way, shape, or form. Some of them will be hard and direct, Chris Christie. Some of them will be, glancing blows. Some will be trying to move around him. But I'd show up if I were him, because this is where you get to demonstrate I am the leader and I will remain the leader. If he doesn't show up, there are going to be people who say to themselves, well, didn't he tell us, didn't he mock Joe Biden for not debating? And hasn't he said he's the world's greatest debater? And maybe there's something that he doesn't want to talk about. And doubts will begin to grow. Doubts are growing. We've now got, depending on what poll you look at, a plurality or a majority of Republicans who say that if he's convicted of something in one of these federal suits, one of these four lawsuits, four indictments, they're not going to vote for him. So he's got to find ways to assuage those growing concerns. And the best way to do it is to show up on August 23rd and September 27th.
How much do they pay him to say that? That's what I want to know, right? Look, Karl is brilliant in many ways, but this was a little bit of okay, we need you to do this because we need to put pressure. It's a pressure campaign. They're trying to put pressure from here, there, and everywhere. So you get the New York Times saying, gosh, Trump ought to show up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, even the New York Times. You get the White House saying Trump ought to show up. It's actually kind of comical. I'm like, no, why should he show up, right? Because this is a little bit of a setup. You're walking straight into the lion's den. Everybody's going to pick on him. And it's really kind of, if I'm him, it's not worth my time. Like, it's just not. I'd rather have a substantive conversation about the policies that are actually going to affect the U.S. economy and the average American person. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.